Uh, I'm going to read a few pieces that I've written for how long ago now, but I hope that everyone enjoys them. The first piece that I'm going to start off with is The Guitarist and I. The piece was inspired by blissful ignorance that is felt in like the beginning of meeting someone, and how that can change as you unlock pieces of them. Is there no unplayable with a strum that strong, with wooden vibrations that echo into songs? I could follow this rhythm for what feels like miles, so long as you strum me along and I would smile. I'd never blink once for fear of missing it. Those strings all touched at once, plucking out notes reminiscent of love. Traces of these notes hang through the air, and the most that I can muster is a stuck stare. These waves of sound sharply tuned into my heart, they make me sing along as if I just knew my part. In harmony, we would surge, forming a song, simply unable to resist the urge. As the rocks he'd roll and like the chords, we would progress through this jazz jungle he's created without stress. I'd sing with such a new ease, mimicking this breeze, my every breath supported by these jazz jungle trees. The world being the muse for it's never been mute, such never-ending inspiration of which we create this music. Nothing could stop us except ourselves. And so, as time went on, I began to unhear that beautiful sound I thought once so clear. The strings, they turned to stone as anxiety chilled me to my bones. That once loud world, silent again. My once strong, breeze-like voice strained, his strumming hand frozen, contained, my eyes stuck shut, for I must have missed it all. Out of tune, my heart out of rhythm, my guitarist, my friend, watching the staffs as he began to break them, he and his unplugged notes, me and my irritated throat, drifting apart from that jazz jungle once known, towards our own paths, simply just more roads. The world is still speaking to me, just not the way it spoke to he, and so I learned from that jazz jungle that we all must trip and we all will fumble, but I also learned that chances and changes are much too subtle. So beware of the guitarist whose songs are but a moment in time. That is the story of the guitarist and I. I would like to introduce my next piece, which is 5 Feet Apart. This piece was inspired by a Netflix movie I watched recently, and it kind of had me questioning my understanding of love. The lengths we all go for love. How long will we go until it's done? We yearn for no space in between, yet we feel overwhelmed when we can't breathe. We ask for suffocation as a means to feel needed, and when that need is met, we move along with regret. So the real question becomes, how much space is needed to feel loved? The old saying that absence makes the heart grow fonder isn't just some silly wonder, it's something that needs to be gently pondered, because as we ask for an immediate close spark, we also need to be 5 feet apart. And this contradictory ideology is what makes love confusing to me. There's a need to be close while also feeling far. There needs to be a want without falling apart. Wrapping your head around something so intricate is why so many people fail at it. You don't know what you have until it's gone. The moon cannot rise without the setting of the sun, and so that a question is repeated. How much space is really needed for love to be fun, yet not something we bleeded? And I want to introduce my final piece that I'm going to be talking about today. This piece is called Talking to Myself, and it is a representation and manifestation of my anger. I talk to myself about you, as if I could telepathically reach you. The words you'll never hear, the ones that will never affect you, the sentences that I replay from the feelings you lost that day, the love I gave, all for you to say you couldn't reciprocate, nor a person I couldn't save. Oh yes, I talk to myself about you when I ache for my past, a stolen memento of what never lasts, a vision in gray of regrets and a storybook full of notes to you you'll never get. You're a colorless picture, sun-bleached and tan, a reminder of moments that I had no spine to stand. So yes, I talk to myself about you. I talk about the endurance I must have, the naive brain I had, but boy am I glad that you had that nag. The nagging thought to pack your bags, leave me alone even when it was I who had shown. Even when I was a tornado, you simply boarded your doors in the face of all my windful blows. Even as your windows broke, you sat in silence as if there was no storm. So with that, I applaud you. You somehow managed to push me away too. With all of this talking, I'm aware of just how much I know about you, and though you may still sit in silence, I know and I spoke the truth on my end, and I allowed it to drop from my tongue, freeing the secrets from the vault where they hung. I talked to myself about you in curses that I screamed from the top of my lungs. I talked about you like an unwanted stink bug. I screamed at my reflection because of all the damage that was done, and yet, for all of my emotions, you simply felt none. Thank you.